Hey, so I've got another vlog here, and this just randomly pops in my head now because I don't want to just say like, oh, this is like a definite thing that I'm doing. But I've always wanted to make a game, like many other people. I've always wanted to make a game, so I'm trying to learn coding, and I've started doing my artwork. I'm still kind of planning like how I want the game to be. I've got like a couple of ideas. I'm not gonna say them because I don't want to say like, "Hey, this is what I'm gonna do," and if somebody either, well, I mean, you can't really be too original now because, I mean, how original can you be with all these games that have came out? Yeah, so this just like pops in my head now. I'm not gonna say this teacher's name, but I think it was like sixth grade maybe. I don't know. It was either 6th grade or 5th grade or something. But this teacher, she absolutely hated me. She was always making fun of me. She was always just like being mean, just like the devil. And it's crazy because her husband worked at the high school that I went to. And he was like the nicest guy ever. But anyways, I did not like this teacher. She was just evil, but she hated me. And I guess she was trying to ask everyone what they wanted to be when they grow up. So like we were in the classroom, and the teacher was calling us out one by one. Just kind of like have like a one-on-one like talk, like, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I didn't really know too much of what I wanted to do when I was older, because I mean, I was just a kid trying to, do kid things. I wasn't worried about growing up. So I was like, well, I like to play video games, so I guess I'll be a video game maker. And she was like, that requires math, and you're not good at math. You will never be a video game maker. Choose something else. And I was like, dang, like, you didn't give me like any, like, you couldn't have just said like, okay, that sounds good, next. No, she like had to like beat down on me, saying that I am stupid at math, I am just an awful student. And just like, she was just like so mean. And like that just like pops in my head now because I'm trying to make a game and trying to learn the code. And every time I have my mind on like about my game, she's always in the back of my head that you will never be able to do this. And then so like after she asked me like what else I wanted to be or choose something else, like she like basically like demanded me to choose something else. I said, I don't know, like, policeman. And then, kids being kids, we all talked about what we said we were going to be. And someone asked me, I said, yeah, I said, like, policeman. This guy's trying to honk the 18-wheeler's horn. Anyways, I don't know if you heard that or not. Anyways, so kids being kids, they're like, oh, well, that they have to shoot you in the academy. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure they shoot you with like rubber bullets. I'm sure they don't just get like a rifle and shoot it at your shoulder. So people were making it out like, yeah, you will be like basically on your deathbed if you join the academy, and they have to shoot you, like just shoot you down, put the kibosh on your life. So then, of course, me being a naive little kid, I believed it, and so I was trying to think of what else I wanted to be. I feel like my forehead's bleeding. So I wanted to talk about another teacher that hated me. she, and it's funny because her sister worked at my high school, and I did not like her. It did not take me long to not like her. She was just like her sister too. But anyways, this teacher, I'm going to call her Miss P. I'm not going to say her name. She did not like me. And I remember one instance where she was like, she did not care about anything that happened to me. This was like whenever I was like a little kid, and there was like this kid, you know, like the Vine where it's like crackhead kid at it again, and he bounces like a basketball really hard and it hits his face. He's like, yeah. That was basically this kid. He was absolutely insane, and I don't know what happened to him. He was there one day, and the next day he completely disappeared and was never to be seen again. So I always like had that in my head, like that he just went to like a mental hospital. So that's what I had always thought that happened to him, was that he just like went to a mental hospital. So yeah, this kid, he was absolutely insane. So we were sitting there on the computers trying to do like, I think like accelerated reader maybe, or success maker. I think it was accelerated reader. Anybody who remembers that. That's a throwback. I don't even know if they still do that. We were sitting next to each other, and he just looks at me, and I look at him. He grabs a mechanical pencil and snaps it, and then just like slices my face. So I'm sitting here like bleeding on my face, and I'm like freaking out because I'm like, what just happened? We were just sitting there, and all of a sudden now I've got a cut on my face. I'm bleeding. And the teacher just like, I ran to her, and she was sitting there out in the hall talking to her fellow teachers, talking about teachers things, and she's like just sitting there talking, and I'm like, I've got a cut on my face. Trey just cut me. I'm just gonna say Trey. But yeah, he cut me, and the teacher, Miss P, she said, Nathan, go back to your seat and sit down. And I was like, whoa, what are you talking about? You can't do that. I've got a cut on my face. She did not care. So yeah, then there was like a whole thing of like, she got in trouble because she didn't care, and she had to apologize to me, which I knew she didn't care. I know she wasn't being genuine, but I could see like the pain on her face to have to apologize to me, especially me being a little kid. She's having to apologize to a little kid. So that kind of made me feel good, but also I knew it wasn't genuine. And so also I beat the kid up afterwards. I beat him up. I gave him, I think I either broke his nose or I just gave him like a black eye. I can't remember, but I beat him up, as you did as back in the day, and everybody was totally fine with it. So that's my teacher stories. I'm sure I've got other teachers that didn't like me. I remember like one time Miss D, I didn't like her, and I thought she stepped out of the class for a second. So I always like, at that point I was like thinking in my head like, oh yeah, teachers think like as soon as they walk out the classroom that they're just like being disruptive and throwing chairs or whatever, being crazy. And so for some reason, because I think I was doing like Success Maker or whatever, I was on the computer. This is like another computer story. But I was on the computer, and she was walking around, and I thought I heard her walk out the door, and I scanned the room. I didn't see her. I think what happened was that she was looking for something under her desk, and I thought that was like the door sound, of her like opening the drawers or closing them or whatever. So when I didn't see her, I jokingly said, "All right, class, the teacher's gone, so let's be disruptive." And she just like appears out of nowhere. I'm talking about, she did the like uncloak spell, and she said, "Detention." She gave me detention for it. Oh, also, I gotta go back to Miss P in here in a second. She like gave me detention and like got on to me about that. So I guess like her worst nightmares of being a teacher, of the kids just randomly being disruptive when the class is, or whenever it's just the class and no teacher, I guess it came true. And so she was like, "This is my final moment," rubbing her hands together like a maniac, like evil genius, just saying, "Detention, I'm gonna give you detention and you're gonna pay for it." But back to Miss P. She gave me detention every single day, and I don't know what it was for. I mean, I didn't have like the best grades, but I wasn't like having F's all the way. I may have like maybe like 1D. It was mainly like C's, I think. I could be wrong. But she gave me detention all the time, and I would ask her like what it was for, and a lot of times she wouldn't tell me, and sometimes she would tell me like because I was like talking in class or I was being disruptive, and there'd be like a good bit of days where I didn't say a word. Of course, granted, I did talk a lot as a kid in class, and the teachers would have to get on me for talking. But a lot of those times when she would tell me because I was talking or being disruptive, those were the days where I'm like, you know what, for some reason, I'm just not going to say a word to anybody. I guess because I was trying to do like that, oh, I want to be mysterious today, and like I need to make sure I'm being all mysterious and not talk and have my head down and just being stupid as a kid, being weird. So, yeah, she just gave me detention all the time, and so I got to miss out on a lot of recess. I got to miss out on playing with my friends. Got to miss out playing freaking Beyblades. Beyblades were so popular at my school. Everybody and their mama had a Beyblade. And if you were that kid that brought like the little tournament bowl or the Coliseum or whatever you call it, it was like just like a plastic like bowl arena or whatever, if you brought that, you were the man and everybody was counting on you to bring it. So that would be really fun to do. And then eventually like they just stopped doing that. The teachers put an end to Beyblades, and of course like silly bands and everything. They put like an end to like a lot of like fun stuff, and I remember it got so bad for no reason, that they took away our recess. We couldn't get on the playground, and we just had like this empty like small little field. We used to be able to like, if we didn't have any playground equipment, we would like kind of like gather around. We would like have races, or we would like pretend to like, have swords and cast spells or whatever we did as kids. Like just our wildest imaginations, like tag and hide and seek, which, I mean, there wasn't like really many places to hide because it was like an open field with like a few trees. So hide and seek was not too fun. We didn't really do that. We played a lot of freeze tag. And then there'd be like people that would play like Bakugan and like Pokemon. Bakugan and Pokemon were like really big, and I tried my hardest to get into Bakugan, because when I was growing up and I saw Pokemon, I don't know, I just, for some reason I was like, that's stupid, and I would make fun of it like how people would with Minecraft. And I don't know why I made fun of it, because now that I'm an adult and I started playing Pokemon, which granted, I did play Pokemon Go when it first came out, and I played Pokemon Red on my 2DS XL a little bit after, and I got pretty far into Pokemon Red, and I stopped doing both things. I stopped playing Pokemon Go and Pokemon Red. And then there was it was like a year or 2 or 3 where I stopped playing Pokemon Go, and all of a sudden just got right back into it for a little while, and then I stopped it, and now I'm back into it. And I was like, oh, well, I have a Game Boy, and my girlfriend has a Pokemon Yellow cartridge. I might as well play some Pokemon. And I'm having a blast. I've been playing it nonstop. So now I'm like really into Pokemon, which I wish as a kid, whenever Pokemon games were coming out for like the freaking DS or the Game Boy Advance, I wish I had gotten on to that Pokemon bandwagon. So yeah, I was much of a Bakugan kid, and the only reason like I really got into it because one, a lot of people were playing it, and two, this was back when Sonic was giving away like Bakugan cards and those little balls that transformed into like the creatures. And I never watched the show. I never got interested in the show, which even like then, like I didn't really care about like anime. I mean, I watched like animated cartoons. So I mean, I guess you could be like, well, that's technically anime. My definition of anime is something like in the style of freaking Fully Cooley or Bakugan or Pokemon, Space Dandy. Does anybody remember Space Dandy? That was like one anime that I really got into, and it just shut down. And they stopped making episodes, and nobody ever talked about it. Anybody that's like really into anime, I'd be like, oh yeah, I watched Space Dandy. What the heck is Space Dandy? I've never heard of that. And I'm granted, it came out on like ungodly hours, on Adult Swim or freaking Toonami. That's what they called it. So yeah, that I never really watched Bakugan or Pokemon. I didn't really watch anime too much. I watched like SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents. So those are like kind of like the animes that I would watch. I have gotten really off topic, but anyways, so yeah, then like apparently that was just like too much. So the teacher put the kibosh on that, and we couldn't run around or gather around, play cards, or throw the football. Smear. Yeah, I can say this now. I think it's now like okay to say. We would play like Smear the Queer. What did they call it? I think they called it Mole. I don't know, but we always called it Smear the Queer, and I don't know if queer is like a good word to use now. I heard somewhere that now it's like acceptable to say, which back then if you were to say that you would get in trouble. But now I don't know, because now it's like the LGBTQ and Q is queer, so I'm confused now. So now we couldn't do any of that. We had to just sit down on the ground and not move. We could just talk to our neighbor, which I'm surprised they didn't take that away. So teachers, they did not like us kids having fun. So that really sucked, because I mean, we're kids. We're supposed to run around, be stupid, hurt ourselves, and have fun, because that's what kids do, or that's what kids used to do. Now kids, I'm not even gonna get on the subject of kids nowadays. But yeah, that's basically this video. I made it to my destination. I've been talking forever. I'm surprised the teacher isn't being like, Nate, shut up, because you're talking too much. Not supposed to be talking in class. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed my little story time of me being a kid.